Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Frank Cadle with the Get Fit and Be Lean program that I used to lose over 20% of my body weight in 2021. I want to thank everybody for joining the live stream tonight. This is one of my scheduled live streams that I hold on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. And this is a multi-platform live stream that you can join on TikTok. You can view it later on YouTube. You can come to the space on Twitter. Normally I do Instagram as well, but I'm having a little problem with that device today. And we're going to see if we can't get everything set up here. All right. Hi there, man. All right. Yeah, squats would be the way to work on your glutes. Thank you very much for the question. I'm Dr. Frank Cadle with the Get Fit and Be Lean program, and this is one of the weekly scheduled multi-platform lives that I hold about the Get Fit and Be Lean program that I've used to lose over 20% of my body weight in 2021. And this week we're talking about blood pressure and my own blood pressure. Most recently I went and got it checked, and it was 104 systolic. Looks like it was 70 diastolic. And so this is down significantly from, let me see if I can get that to come up. So hopefully you can see this. These are my last three readings when I went to the doctor last Friday. And 104 over 70 is the most recent reading. Looks like it kicked me out of my space. I don't really know why. Oh, well. So much for Elon. Anyway, the reason I want to talk so much about blood pressure, I haven't really focused on it that much on my previous lives, but I want everybody to understand that, and I will get to the 2-veggie goal in just a minute. Thank you very much for the question, pharmacist. There's a lot of information on social media, and people are talking about fat and fit and healthy at every size and body positivity. And one thing I can positively tell you is that obesity puts you at increased risk of developing hypertension. And hypertension is what we in medicine call the silent killer, because as your blood pressure is high, it puts stress on your heart, it puts stress on the blood vessels in your veins, and your arteries, in your brain. And one thing that can happen is a devastating initial presenting event like a heart attack or a stroke, and people don't even ever know that they have high blood pressure, because other than that, there aren't a whole lot of symptoms. But although there aren't symptoms in general, there are known risk factors for high blood pressure. And one of the most widely known risk factors of high blood pressure is obesity. So to treat obesity as something other than a disease in and of itself, I think, is a real disservice to do to patients, and it's really kind of stifling doctors to try and get them to say that this is not a disease process in and of itself, which it most certainly is. Obesity is a diseased state. And we saw that with the COVID-19 outbreak when we first didn't really have any treatments and had a hard time recognizing even what was going on. What we found was that the risk of dying showed a linear relationship with obesity as measured by the body mass index. And the body mass index, I promise you, it is not an oppressive tool of the patriarchy. The body mass index is just a screening tool for obesity. Certainly, you can have a BMI and not have obesity, but not many people do. Those are usually Olympic level athletes with 3% body fat or something like that. So what I want to focus on is how obesity and hypertension are related. And what we find is the more obese that you are, the higher that number gets if you develop hypertension. And I've posted a couple of articles in my Twitter feed this week, peer-reviewed, published research of the highest quality that I really try to present to you guys. That really demonstrates the risks and relationship quite clearly. So take a look at those studies and continue to work the program if you're on it. But if you have high blood pressure, see your physician, get on whatever medication you might need to be on, and make sure that you continue to monitor that over time. My systolic blood pressure got up as high as 130. Now it's down below 110. My diastolic pressure is down in the 70s, and my heart rate at rest is down in the 60s probably. So all of these are a result of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. None of them were the case before. And the 2 veggie goal of the Get Fit and Be Lean program means 2 servings of raw or steamed vegetables with lunch and 2 servings with dinner. So in addition to portion control, this is really the foundation of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. And the reason that I pick leafy green vegetables is because they increase your satiety due to the fiber that's present there. They fill your stomach up, make you feel like you've had something more satisfying. What about cholesterol? My cholesterol is down through the Get Fit and Be Lean program using the 2 veggie goal. It's down by 20 points. No medications, no statins, anything like that. Now, if you have high cholesterol as measured by laboratory tests, you need to talk to your doctor. You may need to be on medication. But it's clear that there is a relationship between dietary intake, but some of it is genetic as well. So it may not solve all your problems just to become a vegetarian or something like that. Yeah, so on blood pressure medication, if you're on blood pressure medication and you are obese, it is possible that if you get off the medication, if you lose the weight, you could get off the medication. And I was not on medication. I maybe should have been, but I hadn't really discussed it very aggressively with my doctor, who's kind of a hands-off guy because I'm a physician. And I ended up being able to lower it with the Get Fit and Be Lean program. So the 2 veggie goal, which was a question from 765 Flour, is 2 servings of raw or steamed vegetables with lunch and 2 servings with dinner. Now, when I say vegetables and I ask people what's a vegetable, a lot of them will say lettuce. Yay, lettuce is a vegetable. They're correct. Leafy green grows above the ground. But frequently they'll say then tomatoes. And tomatoes are delicious, but they're really a berry. They are a thin-skinned organ of reproduction that contains seeds for the plant, also contains nutrients to help those seeds germinate and grow. And then carrots. Carrots are a tuber. They grow below the ground. They store starch for the organism. They don't actually produce the energy. That's what we're looking at, is the energy-producing leafy green stuff that grows above the ground. And if you can only come up with lettuce or spinach, you're going to have a tough time getting 2 servings at lunch and 2 servings at dinner. So what I would recommend is that you expand your repertoire to include, we got another new message here. Thank you very much. Broccoli, spinach. Now, see, carrots. I just talked about carrots. So broccoli, spinach, but you may need to really expand your repertoire way beyond that to include things like kohlrabi, broccoli rabe, fennel, cabbage, kale, all of these different things you can add. And I'm going to get into on another video my favorite vegetable, because I was asked that by one of my colleagues. And if you can incorporate it into your meal and continue to eat the foods that you like to eat, but limit those to single servings, I do believe that you can see the kind of results that I've seen. 20% of my body weight, 5 inches off my waist, really, was able to stop taking my reflux heartburn medication. It's really been a major change. So that's really all I wanted to talk about this week. It's not going to be a very long live, but I do want to ensure that everybody's had the opportunity to ask any questions. Sprouts are a leafy green vegetable that grow above the ground, or at least, pop out of the ground. And I use sprouts all the time, and I really like them. I grow them at home in my kitchen. I've posted videos on TikTok of the growing process and harvest. So I do recommend that you guys use sprouts, and then expand your repertoire. Okay, broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, all of these different things can provide you with a serving of leafy green vegetables. You get 2 of those with your lunch, 2 of those with your dinner, and eat whatever else you like. And, I think one of the problems with the Western outlook on dinner and lunch is, what are we having for dinner? And the first thing you think of is, oh, we're having beef, we're having chicken, we're having whatever. And so we tend to think of that protein first. And then when you look at what goes with it, you look at the starch, chicken with rice, or ribs with fries, or whatever. And so the vegetables almost become an afterthought. And that's really one of the things that I want to help people try and change. No objective, verifiable material evidence of God. You are on the wrong live, so I'm going to mute you. And I know that TikTok in particular is really into conflict and debate, and, people going at it about the flat earth and all these stupid things. But this is the Get Fit and Be Lean program. I'm Dr. Frank Cadle, and I'm open to your questions about the program. If you have other questions about medical issues, I'll be happy to try and address those, but typically my answer will be something along the lines of, you ought to see a doctor. So sprouts, yeah, I do have some videos on my profile of growing sprouts. Maybe I'll post another one before too long. But asparagus, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, fennel, broccoli rabe, spinach, kale, all of these things that you can get in the greenery section. You can buy them frozen. That's fine if you worry about them going bad. Blueberries and plain yogurt daily. That sounds delicious, and I would highly recommend it. I eat yogurt on a regular basis, really like it. I love blueberries, and they are considered a superfood by the people who buy into that kind of thing and are really focused on inflammation and all that stuff. Hey, somebody got the #1 gifter badge. Congratulations, Rosa. And welcome, Shane. Thanks to have everybody here. Really nice to have a big turnout. And I hope you guys will watch for my future lives. I usually do my scheduled lives 7:30 on Sunday, 7:30 Pacific PM. Salmon, yes, everybody's pushing the salmon. Answered what, troll? What? Okay, Lex Lynn. Now it says I ignored your question, but I'm not seeing your question. So my expectation is your question was automatically skipped based on my words that I've picked to not be addressed. And if you'll notice, I didn't really answer most of the troll questions. Sometimes if they can figure out their way around my filters, then I might make a snarky comment before I mute them. But Lexlin, I have not seen any questions from you, so I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring your question. I'm just not seeing it because it's being blocked based on the keywords. All right, so what about cholesterol, says Stupid Puppets. Cholesterol is a significant risk factor for heart disease and cardiovascular disease, and don't believe any carnivore that tells you different. Hard to chew. I don't pretend that this is a program for everybody. And if you've had a jaw replacement, you're 1 in 10 million people for whom I don't really have a solution. So Talk to your physician. Try some smoothies maybe. All right, Master Troll says that he's a good troll, but all he's been able to say is salmon is great and good fat, and I agree with that. And that's not at all trolling whatsoever. That's completely on topic. And we eat salmon probably every 10 days, every 2 weeks. I like salmon. There's other kinds of seafood that I like more, but that's okay. It's pretty available because of the farming issue. All right. Well, it's really been good to have a big turnout for my weekly live. I really appreciate that. You can view the whole thing on YouTube, where I do the little edits, or try to anyway, when I remember. And talk to your doctor. Yeah, talk to your doctor. You've had a jaw replacement. You can't chew. I don't know what they should give you an alternative diet. I mean, I don't know why you would approach some physician of a non-jaw specialty about problems with your jaw being replaced. All right, high triglycerides, pre-diabetic, avocado, fine, coconut oil I might stay away from. But definitely with those kind of triglycerides, you need to follow up with a physician for regular laboratory studies. That's the level at which you hold up the blood tube and it layers out in the tube. You're going to need to be on some medication for that. TJ Penning, welcome. Thank you very much. And a lot of these things are genetically determined, and you can get your diet completely in line with what they recommend and still have your labs be off. And that's why we produce medications that can be used to help decrease the risks of hypertriglyceridemia. All right. No peanut brittle for Lexlin. Okay. I don't really demonize any foods. I'm really not a person who goes after any particular kinds of food. There are foods that I don't like. I've done the 5 things I would never eat video, and hope some people got a kick out of that. But the reality is, I think it's more about portion control, the obesity problem that we see in the Western world. And if we can just address that, we can go a long way towards making people healthy. And the fact is that there was a physician who did a study just on losing weight with decreased calories of Twinkies and Ho-Hos and all kinds of terrible food. His biological markers for risk of cardiovascular disease went down, because that's how it works if you're skinnier. All right, user 809, thank you for joining, but I think we're about to sign off. I want to really thank everybody for coming by, and let me know if there's any questions you have. You can always hit up my profile and ask me on another video.